Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire ordinal space. Today, we have a really, really good one, guys. We have an artist. We have Sir Gadfly. He is amazing artist. His art is kind of the reason why I like art, because it's like the graffiti style. It's kind of like it's bright. It's disturbing. It's amazing. I absolutely love it. We're here today, man. I got the glasses on today. Got an eye problem, so I'm not crying. If one more person asks me if I have pink eye, I'm gonna flip out. But yeah, so we're in some pain, and we're still out here putting out content for you guys, man. Really appreciate you guys watching, listening, liking, subscribing. The support is endless. Thank you, guys. But without further ado, let me bring in my co-host, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, sir?
What up? What up? What up?
What's going on?
Not much. You got pink eye, man? No,
I don't got pink eye.
I had to. You set it up. You set it up.
Oh man. No. But all day, man, all day at work, you got pink eye. I'm like, no, man, it's not freaking pink eye. But yeah, it was a rough day. Got some eye drops, got some steroid eye drops. Ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, we just push through it, right? We got to get the content out there for the ordinal community. So
always. There's sure. Too many people we got, man. We have a list. We have a giant list for you guys. We're just running down one by one, and Sir Gadfly is next. So what do you think about the man, the myth, the legend?
Man, so I was never like super into art as like a traditional art, like, type of going to like a gallery or anything. My wife for sure is. And but I think whenever NFTs came about, I started exploring a little bit more, but never super got into NFTs. And then coming over to ordinals, that really started to change the game from a collectible type of standpoint, right? Because like I told the audience knows, my family has been in the collectible business, sports cards and stuff like that for a very long time. And ordinals just made like it connected that like gap that I was missing, right? And then I was hearing about artists, like people were trying to get artists back in like April to come over to Bitcoin and ordinals, but it seemed like it was a little bit of a tough sell initially. And I think we kind of figured that out. It was because it was so costly to really inscribe on that 4 MB, right? Like that space. But then recently, with a lot of these talented, digital artists that are bringing the higher quality art over into NFTs and ordinals and all this stuff. And Gamma came out with the prints. And then as soon as I saw the Sir Gadfly, the hoodsie, man, like I was like, I got to get this before it sells out, right? Because there was 100 of them. And I noticed that some of these other collections were like 20, 30, but like this 100 was already at like 67 when and these other ones, I was like, man, this is going to sell it. So I picked it up. Like me and you both had of our own. It was just dope, the whole feeling, and the glitch art. I really love the glitch art, and it seems like Sir Gadfly really has honed that down. And so I'm excited, man. I'm excited to learn about his background. We talked a little bit before the show. We always do that, get to know him a little bit, and he seems like a dope ass dude. So I'm excited.
Yep, and he's brave enough to show his face. We are very thankful for that. So let's bring him on. Without further ado, Mr. Gadfly. What's up, sir? Oh, you're on mute.
Yep. You're on mute, sir.
Okay, how we doing? I'm off to a good start now. and I heard about the pink eye. My kids call it stink eye. They always throw me the stink eye.
It's not pink eye.
Or my youngest throws me the sass. So she'll do a sass stink eye, and that's like, back off, Dad. But yeah, welcome from California, man. I'm on the farm, and I got a plane going over, and I'm really stoked to hear that hoodsie connected with you guys, and you guys jumped on it. It's my whole career has kind of gone into this glitch art and learning how to do it, and coming from motion graphics and storytelling and television and film. It's been a happy place for me, and it's definitely an escape. And as an artist, just always trying to grow and learn and teach and inspire my kids, just to do better every day. Always come from the place of not knowing much, and you'll go far. You know what I mean? And thank you. Thanks for the kind words about that piece. It was like an homage to like graffiti art, and really what it said to me was like, the end of the day exhaustion, like fucking wiped out. I'm sitting here. I just slayed it. I just crushed the graffiti. I crushed the graphics. and that's kind of what that piece was about, was just like taking a break, end of the day. I had a good day. I'm done grinding. And so that was kind of that piece. That piece was just like for artists, you know what I mean? In a sense. And just trying to throw some special sauce in there to make it move. And I love motion. I mean, I don't know if we want to go into the technical stuff yet, but like there's a lot of tech, you know, a lot of stuff under the hood that makes that stuff really come to life. I don't know if you've looked at my early stuff. You know, when I started
speaking of early stuff,
February.
Speaking of early stuff, on this channel, we like to really dig into the person's background because, you know, it's about the space. We really want to get to know the person because the people really make the space. It's not really about the products and stuff like that. So before we get into that stuff, we would love to hear maybe before Bitcoin, and take us for, like far as back as you possibly can, and kind of lead us up to the first time you heard that magical word called Bitcoin.
You know, it's a long journey, man. It's long. It's, you know, long and hard and super rewarding. You know, I grew up on a farm. I'm back on the family farm, and to raise my kids and really teach them some solid morals and, you know, keep their moral compass in a good direction. But I grew up here, and I was blessed and had a really rough childhood. You know, I was an only child, but I had stepbrothers and stepsisters that beat the shit out of me. So I had like a lot of trauma, and, you know, really kind of went in and then ended up beating the shit out of my brother, you know, as I got older, because I got bigger than him. You know, he's like 5'10", I'm 6'3", and you know, that payback's hell. You know, I remember, you know, we're going in the dark stuff here, but I remember like the house was so big, I'd get the fire poker ready in wintertime and just to fend him off because he'd bring his buddy home, you know, and they'd beat the shit out of me. You know what I mean? Like, it was weird childhood, you know, but I really made the best of it. And, you know, stuck in, played football, college football, went to UC Davis, like had a great run, and then went to LA. You know, I went to LA 2 days after I graduated Davis, and just grinding, just always grinding, just always. I had a safe landing place. I had a family friend that got me a gig, and I was a receptionist, you know, at an entertainment company. And he's like, dude, I want you out of here ASAP. You answer the phones, and every second you're not answering the phone or you're not getting gas and washing my car, you're going to go make calls and put resumes out. I put out easily 100, 200 resumes in the first couple weeks, just 50 a day, like just insane. I'd format a letter. It was back in the typing, you know, kind of thing. And I landed a gig like in 2 weeks, and I put my wings out and did a ton of shows, and, you know, started on the ground up, and, you know, worked through Hollywood, worked through, you know, really getting your ego crushed and taken out of you and, you know, shoved down your throat, and, you know, went down the story path and fell in love with kids TV, and ended up directing Power Rangers and writing Spider-Man.
Wow.
And I was at Fox Kids, landed in Fox Kids. You know, I had done some traveling. I had a horse background, so I did a show called Horse World and traveled Europe, you know, doing shows on horses, and then got into, writing commercials, you know, short form commercials, and then landed this, you know, historic gig at Fox Kids. Like, it was like the biggest thing in the planet, you know, be a writer at Fox at a union house in a big lot down on Pico. And, you know, I was there for quite a while, and that's when I really got turned on to the editing and the edit bay. And, you know, I was, you know, young and aggressive and just hungry and just always like trying to do a lot. And picked up editing. So I moved from writing over to editing because to me, that was the last line of defense. You know, that's where story, you know, touches the pay dirt and goes out the door. And, you know, and had been in the edit base. So I'm in the Writers Guild and the Editors Guild. And, you know, I worked at, you know, at Paramount Pictures for, you know, decades, and been very blessed, and I still remote in, you know. So like I was showing you earlier, I've got a couple little studios on the farm here, and, you know, I did Hoarders, and I've done, you know, Bachelor, Bachelorette, you know, big TV shows. Just did the Barbie project, you know, did promotions for them, and but not a lot. You know, the Writers Guild strikes here, so it hasn't, you know, been around. And then you know, did that run. I had a really successful run. I was blessed to work for Spielberg. I worked for Lucas. I worked in Jared's Cross. You know, I just had a weird path. You know, I worked in the THX division for George Lucas, and they really fostered young writers. And so I was one of the more responsible ones. So it was cheaper for them to send me over to London with the negative for The Lost World for Spielberg than it was to mass produce them in Hollywood and ship them, because a film is 7 reels. They're about 22 minutes a piece. So a film back in the old day before digital, you'd run a reel and we would have to grade these prints. So we had a grading system. So depending on the grading system, the lesser quality films would go on smaller screens, and the better quality films could go on bigger screens with larger throws. And back then it was digital, but there was we called them SR tracks, and we'd have to have them pull the plates, and we had like certain things that we had to do. So I was blessed to go over to London, to Jared's Cross, with the print for Spielberg, and I mean, just being at the right place at the right time. Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise were filming Eyes Wide Shut, and it's called Rank Film Labs, and it's where Stanley Kubrick did all of his prints. So I was working out of there. Chester Air was Stanley's colorist, so they set me up with some lunches because I'm a huge Kubrick fan, and so I was able to meet with Chester at the bar, the pub, and it was just, I've had a really blessed career, like very blessed. And I just fell into the editing. Like it's just been one thing after another, and eventually I decided to leave LA, you know what I mean? Like, and everyone was like crazy, like, why would you leave here? And I'm like, look, like my kids are getting a little older, and, I don't really want them to do middle school and the high school. And, I had lived in a great community, and the schools were decent, but, under the surface, there was a little heroin issue in the high school, and there was a little issue here and there. And, so eventually, I moved back to the farm and raised my kids. And, I've got 2 daughters that are just, go-getters and smart and strong, and just, they're just incredible girls. And, in the last 2 years, when I've really fallen into this crypto world and digital art, and I had a really good friend, his name's Coldy. I don't know if you know of Coldy, but, he's a legend in the space. And he onboarded me, and he kind of introduced, so I kind of saw him doing stuff, and I'm like, hey, that's what I do, like After Effects, Photoshop, now I use Pixelator Pro, which is like, I can share as much of my tips and my technique. Like I'm open book. Like I want to educate. I want every artist to succeed. I want to share, the blessings, even though we're going through, inflation and all that stuff. That's part of this, narrative that we can ignore, because in a sense, at the core of it, we're still amazing humans. And I teach my kids that, prosperity is here. Like there's nothing stopping you. Don't listen to the noise. Like this is going to go away, and you're going to dominate, and you're going to have an incredible career, and you're going to have incredible life, and hopefully kids, or whatever they want to do. So I'm a big champion of success and positivity. You know what I mean? I believe that, that I'd rather be in a room and share love than, be like, oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, so, and keep me on track if I'm drifting too hard for you guys.
No, that
was perfect.
Yeah. So the last couple of years been tough because my mom got injured and broke her hip, and my mom passed away a couple months ago, like 6 weeks.
I'm sorry.
And so some of my early art, she was there with me, and I'd be like, hey mom, what do you think? Because she was on a hospital bed in the living room, and I was taking care of my mom. And I literally set up a graphic station on the kitchen table, like, because it was eating me alive. And that was my happy place. Like, I would do this shift and mom would go to bed, and I'd literally do artwork from like, I don't know, 11 to like 4 in the morning. You know what I mean? Wow. And mom was wandering, so I was literally sleeping on the floor in front of her bed, and she had a little dementia thing kick in, and eventually we got some medication, and we got her in a comfortable place. But she passed away, and so she inspired me, and she was just such a badass, just like dominant. My girls call them girl bosses. She was a girl boss. And and so, like, whatever, I got daughters, so Coldy exposed me that, and we shared an office, and a couple of the other kids that were in there, were like, hey, talking about this crypto stuff. And, and I'd always kind of had this feeling like we're getting screwed with banks. Like, it's like, like even having owned several houses and whatnot, there's really no incentive at all to put your money in the bank. The only incentive is to have debt. Like,
Yeah.
The only kickback I get is if I'm carrying debt on my house, then I can get a return on, my tax rate. So if I buy $1 million home and I finance 800,000 of it, they're going to incentivize me to have that 800,000 of debt. Wow. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Hey, I got $800,000 of debt, and you're gonna throw me a bone and give me a tax thing. But if I have no debt and I've got 800,000 sitting in the bank, I got nothing. You know what I mean? So it was just like that always never added up for me, so I got exposed to it. And my first purchase ever was Bitcoin. And the funny thing about it, this is really cool, is that when I started inscribing it, so basically February hit, I had done some early pieces on ETH, and then I moved over to Tezos. So I've got, I had done, 60, 80 pieces of art, and I call it short form. So when I do TV shows, it's called long form, and artwork's short form. So some of these, for me, like 10 seconds, 12 seconds, you know what I mean? But you can tell a lot of story in 12 seconds. I had geared up and submitted some stuff for Super Rare and Known Origin, and I was kind of gearing up for that stuff. And I had submitted some applications, hoping that I could get on those, higher end platforms. And then all of a sudden this Ordinal thing was like, hey, what the hell is this? And I got on a space and I was like, I think it was with Doc Hollywood, which I love Doc. And it was like, whoa, the whole thing of like IPFS and, your art with Ethereum and Tezos potentially sitting on something that could disappear if they didn't pay the server fees, whatever. And then it was like, oh, you're actually the art is in theory on the node. It's like Bitcoin. It's like Satoshi's. It's like the art is Bitcoin. There's no rug pull. It's immutable. It's, this. And I was like, ding, ding, ding. I'm like, whoa. I emptied out all those folders and I was like, I'm done, and a lot of that art had to get, reimagined and rethought. So I started out, I think my first inscription was February 11th. And I landed in like 100. I was in the 100,000s. Nice. And so, and we were in the 1-2 sat fee range, you know what I mean? And so we were inscribing some of that glitch work, and I inscribed a lot of stills, and it was just family stuff. Like even a picture of me directing Power Rangers, and like, my astrophotography and just some I was like, whatever I had, I was just throwing. I'm like, throw it on chain, like just get it on there. I saw that this was going to have some historical significance to me, at least, to have it there. And the thought was like, hey, this is going to last for way beyond me, beyond my kids, even if a nuclear war happened on the other side of the planet, my node and these nodes here we'll just repopulate it. And there's a couple nodes up in satellites, like, that was kind of my thought process. And I was just like, I get it. This is amazing. And then I was on a space and I set up my own node and I ran my own full node. And I was like, whoa, Sparrow wallet and a full node. My IP doesn't even go outside my house. I'm my own sovereign banking financial institution right here, right now. I am. And when that clicked, and I was like, "Whoa! I get what maxis are all about." It wasn't until I ran the whole node and I had it there and I had it paired up, and I was like, there's nothing going out. Like, it's here's my little solid state drive connected, and I'm my own little bank right here. Like, this is it. And I was just like, I doubled down. I was like, I was up for 2 months, pretty much straight, just making art, putting art on. I was able to get. I don't know if you look in my stuff on my tree, my early collection's called Glitched Gold. And it's 36 handmade pieces, just a mixed smosh of, hand art, hand drawings, just some a little mix of AI stuff that I had propagated that I ended up just beating the hell out of and rotoscoping and cleaning it up. And I kind of came up with this little head bob thing. And I was doing some cutouts with some inserts and glasses. So I was really into this thing. And it was like, it connected. I was like, wow, that's a cool look. And I ended up making like 6 or 8 of those. And those ended up, they're all GIFs, and I used Gamma for all that. And they had a back end compression side of it. So, and I didn't know anything. I would just compress it enough so that way it could go on Gamma, and then Gamma had another compression engine. So some of those are, they are what they are, and they're beautiful because they are, early. I'm almost calling them petroglyphs. They're like petroglyphs. Yeah. I mean, they're the early stuff, and I've evolved from that. I'm all evolved from GIF format to WebP stuff. Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. So that there's the glitch gold. Yeah. So these are like, there you have it. It was just a mash of different stuff. And these are all like 3-4 frame animations. And some of these were stuff that I had made before. The Fearmonger, I love,
that's awesome.
The Bitcoin loop is the longest piece. It's 70 frames. It was a lot longer than that. And I had to time warp it and time ramp it to make that flip to get it. Because that was it. Like, you don't make art, you have to make art for Bitcoin. Like, it's a different thought process.
Yeah.
And
were these expensive, super expensive to inscribe though?
Because no, so we're in the 1-2 sat fee range. So they were $70, $80.
Wow.
That same piece right today would be almost $1,000 to inscribe.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I've had a handful of people come at me to buy this stuff.
Yeah.
Specifically I had a solicitor yesterday, the Pepe to the Moon. That piece there has been very sought after. If you go up, there's a little Pepe right there with the little yep. That one's a hot little ticket. And that one, if we look on it, that's on SAT 3500, I believe it is. So and here's the weird thing. This was really cool. Was that early Bitcoin that I had bought, I had hodled, and I used that Bitcoin to inscribe this artwork, and ended up having a lot of these pieces land on the exact same block, and I didn't know what I was doing.
That's crazy.
So they all landed in this December 19th, 2009. The block is 30500. And I was like, what's the luck of that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was like six pieces and, minted weeks apart. But I since learned that it's putting it on the Bitcoin that you send to the pool. You know what I mean? So I had happened to buy that block when I bought my Bitcoin back in 2020, 2021, and it was sitting in my ledger, and I was shooting off the stuff off the ledger. So, it's been such a fun thing to learn. I'm really excited about going to this Inscribing Amsterdam thing that's coming up October 14th. I talked with them. They're going to do hands-on. I'm going to bring my computer and my node and try and even grow further, and learn. I have been collecting the SAT 9, the block 9s and the block 78s for a project that I don't even know what exists yet, but I know that they're going to have a purpose, and I'm all about story. So, the block 9s, I really feel like I might do something with cats and 9 lives kind of a thing.
I like that.
I don't know. So, I mean, I've kind of run that gamut there. Is there anything else you want to redirect me on? And
nah, man, it's really good. Yagobi.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just looking at your Tezo stuff and just all your collections, I love just your style with it. And I mean, obviously you have years of experience and it shows. I'd definitely love to see some of these Tezo style pieces come over to Ordinals as well. But with that being said, your reasoning to come over to Ordinals makes complete sense, right? For that. Now, do you feel like more artists will start to think like you? Because like I had mentioned before we brought you up, there was this movement in April, May to try to bring over artists that can create higher quality digital art like what you're doing, but it was slow. And I feel like the past 2 weeks to 3 weeks, it's picked up. What are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like Bitcoin will be the ordinal space will be that place for artists to really kind of have these gallery events like Gamma did with Prince?
I do. I think it's going to take some work. I had some stuff. I had some of my Tezos work at an art gallery up in Reno, Reno's up the hill from me. I'm in the gold country.
Okay.
And there's a couple legends in that space that are East piece that had my buddy, well, Coldy for one was up there. And I showed him the hoodlums, and hoodlums were kind of the next generation of, me as an artist and figuring out animated WebP. So the WebP is about a 60% compression, from a GIF. So, a one meg GIF is going to be about 280 to 320 kilobits as a WebP. So these are all WebPs. These are 1024 by 1024. These will look phenomenal. If you go deep into them and you look at the actual source, they're massive. If you hit that content link, you'll see how big these guys can get. It'll be down. It's in that row there, the third row. There'll be one that says content link. And if you click that, and you can click on the image and it'll go bigger.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
So those are like 300 kilobits, which in my world is like an ant, like a fingernail.
Yeah.
And but in Bitcoin land, these are massive. I'm calling them fat files. These are like, if I can get the pool right, these are still costing me, $260 to $300 to inscribe each of them. But I believe in the art. I believe in it, and I want it to look good. And I'm blessed to have collectors in Europe, Berlin. I stoked the one collector out, and I don't know if you saw that video, but I made him a 3D interactive print. So each one of those animations is 6 frames. So I basically took 2 frames and I made 3 animations. So 3 stills. So each lenticular has 2 stills in it. And then I built it into a box. So his name's 𝐆𝐞DFŁ𝐘. The guy's incredible. He's actually going to meet up with me in Amsterdam. But I took the frames and then put them in lenticulars. So when they're hanging on the wall, when you move, the images move in 3D space.
That's awesome.
But I would have never thought to do that, other than I want to stoke out my collector, because I've got these listed for 0.49 or 0.049. So, they're about $1,250. They're not cheap. But that's okay. And I didn't pick that price. I let them set the price. And so I basically ran a pool and I said, hey, what would you guys offer me? And that was kind of the common thing. So that's what people have been paying. I don't have many listed. I don't really list them because I don't necessarily want people to randomly come in. If people want to buy them, they just DM me, and then we time it and we list it depending on if we want to put it on Gamma or Magic Eden. Those are the only 2 platforms that I have them.
Yeah.
The glitch gold went crazy. The JSON file went out there, so they're on all the platforms.
Nice.
But the hoodlum piece is like, the goal is 100 of them. I've only got 15 inscribed. I've got 2 that are built. They do take me several days to make. And now it's like kind of a waiting game. Like I had a chance to get them in at some 12 sats, which would have been about $380 to inscribe, and I was just being cheap. And now the pool's at like 28, 30, so they're like $700, $800 to inscribe, and I don't want to pass that cost off. And there's no rush. There's a great selection, and I'm also looking at other stuff. Like I just did a piece for the Amsterdam conference, a flower piece that's got a really cool hue blend. I've really fallen in love with this underculture and the counterculture and the graffiti vibes, and just having fun, man. Just really trying to be available. I'm really, flowers to Gamma and Nick and Brett and that whole team. It looks like Nick may be coming over to Amsterdam as well. So
it's awesome.
It's a great journey. Like I've really loving the space. And it's funny because everyone says, oh, building the bear. And to me, I don't recognize bear or bull. Like I don't see that. I just see time. I see, you know, time
Passion.
is valuable,
Yeah.
and it's I'm just making it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, I'm trying to inscribe them as cost affordably as possible, and that's why I'm hoping that maybe you know, using my own node and learning that technique might save me a little money here and there. I am a little bit of an on-chain maxi. I've had a lot of people reach out to me to try and do this recursive thing.
Yeah.
I've had some conversations with ChatGPT and had it generate like I'm calling it a gadfly glitcher, and that would be an inscription that people could then come to and take their own image, attach it, it'll add my glitch technique, and then they can spit it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I've made a couple prototypes of that, but it's not close. You know, I mean, it
doesn't look the same.
Oh God, no.
Gotcha. Yeah, because that was going to be my question.
You can make one layer look cool, but
yeah,
you know, most of my stuff's at least 3 layers.
Yeah,
it has a little more depth.
So yeah, because you're taking an approach, because obviously one of the reasons why artists had a hard time, they were just, I guess, hesitant, saying could my art actually fit within, you know, the allotted space, and then recursion came out. But you didn't use recursion with any of yours. You did the frame over frame, which
I did. Yeah, I'm everything's on chain. The only thing that I have done, I did use one of my images. I did an RGB shift on a Bitcoin logo that I loved, and I ended up making a clock that is geospecific. So wherever you are in the world, it shows your time. And so I used this glitch art. And I can tell you what inscription it is. It's fucking wicked, dude.
I gotta check it out.
Let me see if I can find
so it how does it determine where I'm at? By my IP address?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's sick, dude.
That's crazy.
So it's like the evolution of dynamics are coming, man.
Yeah. It's coming over to here. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Have you thought about like fractionalizing this?
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to find it. Let's see here. Dude, I have so much art. Not only have I made a lot, I have bought a lot. Okay, so look at it's inscription 24690 071. And you can Ord.io makes it look great.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Did you find it, Shizzy?
24690.7.
I found it here.
You want to show it?
Yeah. Yep.
So that's an original glitch piece underneath of it, and then it, you know, it shows you your time zone, cool. So it's always going to be with you. And I see that hanging on my wall at some point. That's going to be my clock.
Yeah. I mean, you could technically frame that in a circular frame that makes it look like a clock, and then connect it.
And you can do whatever. Like anybody could go in there and reveal source, and there's just an easy container to swap out whatever fucking inscription you want in there.
That's what I love about ordinals and inscriptions, is that like you have the code here to be able to copy it, and then it's open source. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. And if you go down there, there's a little thing, and you just make sure you don't put the whatever. It's just /contents, and you can put slam in whatever image you want there.
Yeah, exactly. I do think that ordinals are going to get to a point to where we have smart inscriptions and stuff like that, to where it will compete with Ethereum. Now, how long is that going to take? I don't know, right? Because we're in the innovation period, but yeah, so
dude, we've come so far. Like it's insane.
100%.
Come in 7 months. Like literally, I would have put motion art in earlier, but there wasn't even a platform for me. I didn't have a miner. I didn't have a node. I didn't have the intelligence. You know, I didn't have the connections to do that kind of stuff. Did you guys hear that rap song I did?
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude.
Where's it at?
Is it inscribed?
Oh yeah, baby. It's inscribed. Dude, I produced a whole Bitcoin rap song. It's legit. Can you play music on here?
Yeah, I can play music.
Okay, let me see. It's in the 14 million range. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Check all the 14 millions.
Going back. It's the only audio file. So if there's a way to to toggle audio in.
Well, is it under your profile if we go to Sir Gad?
Yeah,
Gadfly?
if you go to Ord.io under profile, I'm trying
and then
to
type
scroll
in Sir
through it.
Gadfly, and then from here,
Yeah, if you get the number, just pop it over.
let's see.
Your story is absolutely amazing, man. Absolutely amazing.
Okay,
From
range.
beginning to.
Oh, I found it. It's like a minute and 53 seconds.
Exactly. Yeah, play that bad
Okay.
boy. Play that bad boy.
I don't know how to.
I spent a fortune
Just
producing
give me the numbers.
Okay, it's 14. Hold on, sorry. It's 14,688,846. All right, here we go.
How do I play it?
Yeah,
there you go.
hit it.
In a piece of 8 pieces fit. Every piece is called a bit. One of the bits in each half sits, and half of a half is called 2 bits. Correct.
Spitting rhymes, check the flow, it's so slick. Talking about Bitcoin, the future's cryptic mix. Digital gold, decentralized and bold. Crypto king rise and the story unfolds. Glitch gold in the matrix we unfold. Flipping the script and rewriting the mold, yeah.
This is crazy.
The visionary to watch, flying high, staying wise, never getting caught. Ordinal stacking, counting up the ranks. Bitcoin's powers off the charts, we give thanks to the traditional banking, we breaking away. Pepe on the rise, memes worth gold for days.
Is everything clear?
No, but it sounds like a good deal.
El Salvador leading, setting the trend. Decentralized finance, we here to transcend. This revolution is disrupting the mold. Blockchain foundation, watch it all unfold. Glitch gold, riches yet abstract we find. Digitized value, paradigm redefined. Sir Gadfly leading, igniting inspiration. Challenging the norms and sparking transformation. Ordinals in line, 1, 2, 3, and beyond. Stepping forward, breaking barriers where they spawn. Pepe's on the screen and laughter and cheer are near. Meme magic shining, making the path clear.
Oh shit, dude, that was amazing. It's inscribed on Bitcoin. Let's
That's
go.
How have we not heard? How?
So
Yeah.
fucking hard to get that thing compressed, man.
How did we not hear about this song? That's crazy.
Dude, I had to have it rewritten because the first draft was 238 and I couldn't compress it. So then I had him. I said, hey, pull this bridge, pull that chorus, tighten it up, get it tighter. So he got it down to 153 and I ended up getting it down to like 380 kilobits. I think it's, typical files like 44 hertz. I think it's like 16 or 18. So I call it lo-fi. It's super compressed, but it was so important to inscribe it. And again, it was like $300 to put it on there, but I had already paid the artist and I just thought it was groovy as shit.
Okay. So that wasn't you rapping?
No. That's my buddy. This artist called Artie Freshcut.
I was about to say, dude, I was like, you went hard in that rap.
No, that's my buddy Artie. I just, paid him and threw him some money and he ran with it. And I gave him, a script and a concept. He came over to my studio and used my good mic and then, went off and he banged this thing out in like a week, 10 days. And then I gave him notes and I rewrote a line and put the El Salvador thing in there because I thought that was really historical. There was a reference to Bitcoin frogs and I was like, hey, frogs that could go away. El Salvador is always going to be an important piece. And this was before I even concept hoodlums. If I would have known, I would have, maybe even mentioned hoodlums. But at that time, Glitch Gold was the only thing that I was really had put out to the public because I've inscribed several other collections that are in wallets that people won't see, and some of my own artwork and spoken word. I minted the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence and like I laid down a lot of groundwork for my kids and for everyone. We're all going to find this stuff eventually. I'm a
the mother's chain, man.
Say what?
And you did it on the mother chain. You did it on the rock. You know what I mean? You did it on the home base. You know, Bitcoin. It's amazing, dude. Absolutely amazing.
No, it's important to me. I you know, I really, dude. I just, you know, to me, it's like, I think that as this, you know, take it for what it is. There's no financial advice, and everything's going to zero. Like, this is nothing. You know, it's all going to zero. And I just personally feel like, you know, as we get to the halving and as we get older and we get, you know, 10, 20 years down the road, and Bitcoin's super scarce and it's impossible to get, you know, what are you going to look at? You're going to look at the other L1s, and I think ordinals, you know, that art that is Bitcoin or Satoshis, or I think it's going to even become, it's going to have a different meaning, a different understanding. You know, I'm calling some of my early stuff that introduced artifacting, like petroglyphs and whatnot. I love them. You know, they're, you know, I would do them a little bit different. They would look a little better, but you know, that's the tools that we had at the time. So it's like, I think they're gorgeous for what they are.
That's such a good point. And I was talking to actually my mom and my
Wow,
wife.
hey, Mom.
I was talking to my mom and my wife about how, because I was tying it in with my brothers in the collectibles industry and stuff, but I had tied it into oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought like 2 seconds. Okay, no, what were we talking about right before this?
Being on chain,
your brother.
No, before that.
Brother on chain.
It was about the future, about the
risk and the quality and the tools that we had, you know.
The tools that we had. There we go. Okay, so it's very comparable to like baseball cards, because if you think about it, like back in the 60s, a Mickey Mantle baseball rookie, even like the perfect ones that looked perfect at the time, the centering was off and like the material was cheaper, but it was like what they had. And you fast forward to now, you look at the cards, the quality is so much better. I know it's a way shorter time span talking about ordinals, but it makes sense. You can compare it. In the beginning, the tools that we had, you were limited to file size and all these things. And now the products are getting better and more quality. Yeah. So those early ones, I think those are going to be worth more because people are going to look at them from a historical value.
Yeah, I agree. And I just think the education's better too. I mean, just being able to have spaces that you guys are doing and sharing what, you know, other, you know, nutty artists like me are doing, and, you know, trying to get story and inject story. Because, you know, everything I make has a little bit of a thought that goes behind it, you know, in case of, you know, the drop that just happened with Gamma, you know, the latest prints, that, you know, grit and glitch, you know, to me, that was important. And nobody in the Bitcoin space has done anything patriotic. Nobody's touched 9/11. Nobody's done anything. Nobody dropped anything. I was shocked that Gamma, you know, that nobody did anything like that. And it was literally a fluke that Gamma did had that spaces yesterday, and it was just a great timing to be able to jump. I don't know if you're aware of that, but they hosted a space with artists and stuff, and I was the only one that had done, you know, this piece. And one of the other artists popped up there and spoke to it because he was an Air Force person, and he's like, I had to buy it. Like, you know, that one speaks to me. I don't know how many I was. We're at what, 47?
Yeah.
That's great, you know, and that means there's going to be some opportunities for people out there to collect the work. So
if this comes out, I'm sure it's going to sell out. After people hears your story tomorrow, or tonight, I'm going to put this video out tonight. After this is just going to sell out tonight, guaranteed.
Well, we'll see. I mean, maybe not. You know, I don't. It's, you know, if people appreciate it, that's all that matters. I mean, like, you know, I was fortunate enough to be able to use what little bit of money I made from it. You know, I was able to buy my my Amsterdam tickets with Bitcoin. So it's like, you know, people buying the art is helping me grow as an artist, you know, helping me offset, you know, because with the Writers Guild strike, I'm not really working right now. So, you know, if I can pay with, dude, that piece is gorgeous. Oh,
I got one of the 100.
It hit so well.
Dude, that one really is good.
Yeah, it hit so well. I feel like it created this FOMO of making sure that you got one of the 100 pieces, because like like I said, there was other pieces that were only going to 20, 30, and this one was driving up pretty quick. This sold out pretty quick.
Yeah, a
right?
couple hours, hour and a half,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah,
2
yeah.
hours.
And so, yeah. So I mean, I love it. You know, I Shizzy, like both of us saw it. We were just like, bam. Like,
That's the
and
one.
we have our community too, and our community was all about it. So I think that's going to be an iconic piece, actually,
Dude,
because
you know who texted me? I'm good friends with Lemon Haze. Do you guys know him?
sounds
No.
familiar.
Yeah,
Does
he's
he-
a great artist. He's over in
Okay.
France.
Okay.
He does The Gentleman. He's got a whole bunch. He's one of the counterfeit cult guys. He
Okay.
just dropped,
Okay.
and he texted me, and he's like, "Hey, I'm sitting here looking at this stuff and looking at all the prints with my girlfriend." And she immediately pointed out yours and said that's her favorite, and you got to buy one of those. So I was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so he even shared that with me. So it's so
Yeah.
nice to get feedback from other artists that you respect, you know, that
Yeah.
are like, dude, that popped. You know what I mean?
How do you feel about the prints? Because you know, typically you artists have your one of ones,
Yeah.
and then this is like something that I guess like people like Shizzy and I that aren't avid like art purchasers, even like from the digital side, we saw it and we are like, okay, so they're numbered. Is this like something that you feel like is going to be looked at as like highly sought after, or is it like gonna just be like event by event type of situation?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just
Oh, I
from
think
my
we might have.
experience is that I think that, you know, some of them will stand the test of time. I think they've curated a great group of people. You know, you can look at, you know, what has and hasn't, you know, moved as much as other stuff. I just give props to all the artists, you know, for putting their best foot forward. And from my experience, though, you know, to have an affordable point of entry that people can get that really dig it and blow up my timeline and say, hey, I got this, I'm stoked.
Yeah.
And then back channels like, how do I get one? When's secondary happening?
Yeah.
Because that hoodie piece is very popular. I've had a lot of people like, hey, when's secondary going to happen? And so I reached out to Nick and I was like, hey, whatever, you know, and I did get one for myself. And we'll see, you know, someone gave one away. Moral gave
wow.
one away a couple days ago.
Oh yeah, we love Moral. He jumps into our
Yeah,
spaces.
he gave one
Mhm.
away, and he's trying to bring me in on a project, and we're talking, and everyone's, you know, everyone's trying to do good work. You know, I mean, that's the cool thing about the space,
Yeah.
is that I don't really see the noise, and I don't really go down the flipper realm. That's just not my lane. I'm a collector, and it's really hard for me to even sell my own art. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I did make hoodlums specifically with the purpose of making an animated PFP that would be anonymous, that we could all hide behind, and we could all like, the WebP files are so small. I do predict, and you can see it on Ord.io and all the websites. That is your profile, and I think that's going to come to X eventually. I think it'll really pop once that evolutionary piece happens.
Yeah.
Because the WebP files are way smaller than a JPEG. I mean, it's 250 kilobits. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, you know, these stills, you know, are 10 megs. You know what I mean, like, so I just think that'll be, I just think it looks cool. You know what I mean? And it's counterculture, you know what I mean? And it's the
Yeah.
story that I want to tell, you know, about, you know, taking back and,
Yeah.
you know, really defining, you know, the future for ourselves, you know, and we'll see. I love the pieces, and the goal is to make 100 of them. I don't know, you know, even if I only do 2 a month or 3 a month, it's going to take me a couple years. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
who knows? I might not get there. We might, you know, I have numbers. I'm a number guy, and so 33 is one of my favorite numbers. I might make it to 33, and we'll see. You know,
Yeah.
if a couple of them were to sell, you know, and I had that, you know, for me, I put the money right back in. You know what I mean? Like, I bought almost every one of the Gamma Print peoples. You know, I really believe in putting the money back in other artists, because we all get to eat. You know, we all got to survive. You know, it's super important. Doc did that thing, and it blew my mind that Beeple's never bought a piece of art. The guy that, you know, sold a piece for $69 million and just he bought a CryptoPunk. So he just spent whatever, you know, $1 million or something. And he bought his very first piece. And you would think somebody like that maybe put 10% back in, you know, maybe put 7 million into other people's, hands, again, nothing against him. I mean, that's a personal choice and it's your money and you can do whatever you want. But I think a lot of artists would thrive even more if they could say, hey, people bought one of my pieces. You know what I mean?
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I mean? That's something to that. So, and then for him to, nothing against him. I like people and, have friends that are very tight with him and go to his studio and his gallery and, his intentions and his art's just off the charts phenomenal. But I would just implore, any artist that's making millions and millions of dollars to support other artists. I mean, just 10% maybe, at the least 10%. I probably put 50% back into other artists, but I believe in this. I mean, I want us all to survive. I mean, I don't want you to have to leave. I mean, I want you to stay in the space, and make cool shit. You know what I mean?
Well, well, on that note, this is part of the show where we'll start wrapping it up and we're going to kind of give you the stage, kind of talk to your community, talk to new community members where they can find you and just your stage is yours.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say other than, I believe in everyone. I just want everyone to know that, the glory days are ahead for us. I mean, like, this is not, we'll get through this. We're going to come out stronger, better, smarter, faster, braver, prettier, whatever. Don't get caught up in the noise. And Bitcoin, I do believe, is going to help us get there. I make art for people, that, connects with people and hopefully, you support me and support the art and I'm just put it back into the system. And you can find me at Twitter at @SirGadFly. I have a little Instagram presence, but I don't really do much Instagram. I'm trying to be out there. I'm trying to learn and trying to grow as an artist. And I'm here, DM me. My DMs are always there. I love to talk compression. I love to talk stuff. I'd love to learn recursives better. I'm going to Amsterdam to learn that, those tricks, and for me, it's hard for me to learn over the phone. So it's like, hey, I'm going to sit with someone and be like, hey, type this up. So they said that they would literally sit with me and teach me command lines, on the ord. I guess it's the ord command. And I'll sound a little bit dumb because I don't know it. So I'm not going to profess that I know everything. I don't know anything, and I'm just always trying to be better every day and keep the lights on and raise my kids to have a good future. I think we all need to have a great future ahead of us. There's a lot of shit going on that that we can't control, and we can control ourselves and our thoughts and just keep clean thoughts and push out the noise and just love your fellow human. I mean, it's really that simple. My mom passed away, so it's I really do share with my kids, really be in the moment, and time is precious. Time is very precious.
Sure.
And I value you guys. I value both of you. Thank you for bringing me into the space. Thank you for educating the community. Thank you for playing a crazy rap song that some dude up to help put out there, and he's trying to make clocks for the world. I mean, like, feel free to grab that stuff, use it.
Dude, man.
There's no ego. So I guess that's all I really have to share. You know what I mean?
Man, I love everything about you, man. You're like my hero right now, dude. This was absolutely amazing.
Well, I think it's like not just the ordinal space, but the world needs to hear stuff like this, and the positive energy that you are portraying, contagious. We feel it up here. And one thing I think about the art community, which is growing in ordinals, you can feel it growing. Man, you guys support each other so well, and we just want that energy to be contagious to the developer side of other projects, because at the end of the day, there's the art community, there's the token community, there's application communities, and all these, and we're all in it together at the end of the day, and we want to educate people and just spread that positivity. So we appreciate you jumping on, spending an hour with us in sunny California, and we definitely want to have you on again.
Anytime, guys. Sure. And honestly, please DM me on Twitter. I'm here. I'm trying to onboard people, I'm trying to bring in
Yeah.
some massive names, the one thing that I've been talking with Nick and, trying to figure out, one big thing that for me is I love to give back. I've done a lot of charity stuff and I've given a lot of money away for, gang and Homeboy Industries when I was in LA and, a lot of autism and, I support kids and all kinds of stuff. And is a multi-sig kind of wallet payout. Because if I do a collab with a big whale, like I don't want to be the gate, get the take. I'd love if there's a mechanism that we could do a 50-50 split. So at the point of purchase, it can go into individual wallets or a 45-45-10 and 10 shaved off too. In a sense, the hoodlum things, those block 78s mean a lot to me, with Hal Finney and the ALS and his challenge of passing away and him as a marathoner. And I put on a lot of running events when I was in Los Angeles. To help, raise money. And so that would be a really cool step. And I know we'll get there. I mean, it's just a matter
100%.
of time. And you put it to the world and, basically it'll happen. And I'm sure someone out there has a solution. I know that Rax hit me up and Nick with Gamma had said that there's a way to pay out into a multi-sig wallet that then would trigger something like that. And obviously DM me if you know how to do this. But I think that's something that would help the community out is if you collab with someone big like that. Someone doesn't want to be dealing with the splits or send me this or send me this. It's just
we're coming after all the artists too. So if you know any artists who want to get some airtime in, send them our way. We're coming after all the artists. We want to get all the artists on here. We want to show amazing work and amazing people like you, and we really appreciate.
Lemon Haze, hit up Lemon Haze. I think he's amazing. There's so many boozies, really cool. I'd get Doc in there. Doc does some stuff, but I don't know how hands-on artwork he is. I think he might produce a little bit of it and have a team of people, but his story side and his vision is really powerful. I'll definitely, whatever I can think of, I'll try and send them your way. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yep.
Thank you, Sir Gadfly. We'll do it again soon, buddy.
Okay. Yep.
Take it easy.
Absolutely amazing. One of my favorite human beings ever.
Yeah, for sure. Right. Like that positivity is, like I said, contagious, and, as I age myself, I feel like I'm getting older. I'm about to turn 20 to 41, but I feel like, man, appreciating these things that like he was talking about is just it's becoming just so much more aware, and it's like that positivity and love and stuff. So yeah, man, love it. Love the art. The art is sick. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the art part of Ordinals for sure.
I was never excited before. I'm really like after talking to Paris and talking to Sir Gadfly, and we got Prism coming on next, and we got so many more artists coming, and it's just really getting me exciting. And this stuff is amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and I think because we're seeing like passion, right? We're seeing passion, and when you see passion, you just see good creations, right? And it's, the conversation isn't about how much does this cost or that cost, you know what I mean? It's more about, this is my collection, support this artist, their collection is about to get launched and stuff like that. And overall, if you compare the Ordinal space to like other chains and stuff, it definitely has more of that in general anyways, but like the artist community is really starting to really shine with that. And so love it.
It feels like a big family over here, man. That's why I absolutely love this stuff, dude.
For sure.
All right, guys. Please like, please subscribe, please comment below. Follow Sir Gadfly. Follow us, man. We appreciate you guys. We're growing like crazy, and we just want to keep growing with you guys. And let's go Ordinals. Let's go Bitcoin.
Yep. Let's do it. Appreciate it. Peace.